Well, despite what is happening in Ukraine, the United States is still proposing military cuts. President Barack Obama sends in Congress an election year budget request. It emphasizes increases, however, in spending on education, public works, and research, but cuts to the military. Mr. Obama wants the wealthy and corporations to help foot the bill. We go live to Ebru's Kyle Schmoyer in Washington, D.C. to break it all down for us. Kyle.
Well, Logan, if any of the lawmakers up on Capitol Hill tonight are reading President Obama's proposal, they are learning tax cuts for the middle class, closing of loopholes for the wealthiest in the country and those most well-connected, but in all, a reducing of the deficit. One somewhat skeptical and maybe sarcastic political commentator put it this way. He boiled it down to 6 words: help for workers, taxes for rich. President Barack Obama's $4 trillion budget for fiscal year 2015 delivered to Capitol Hill Tuesday morning. Highlights include reduced spending on the military, increased spending on infrastructure like roads and bridges, and a boost in federal support for early childhood education.
Our budget is about choices. It's about our values. As a country, we've got to make a decision if we're going to protect tax breaks for the wealthiest Americans, or if we're going to make smart investments necessary to create jobs and grow our economy and expand opportunity for every American.
President Obama's budget plan also calls for some adjustments to the tax code, including to expand earned income tax credit for childless workers, create auto IRAs for easier retirement saving for middle and lower class, expand the child and dependent care tax credit, and make the American Opportunity or college tuition tax credit permanent. He balances that with closing tax loopholes on carried interest from private equity funds, often a benefit for the wealthiest Americans.
We've got to decide if we're going to keep squeezing the middle class or if we're going to continue to reduce the deficits responsibly while taking steps to grow and strengthen the middle class.
The president offered his remarks on Budget Day while visiting an elementary school, underscoring his belief that what he's proposing is an investment in the future of the country, an argument he feels is backed up by recent elections.
The American people have made clear time and again which approach they prefer. That's the approach that my budget offers. That's why I'm going to fight for it this year and in the years to come as president. Thank you very much, everybody.
And okay, so the president's proposal for 2015 comes in with a budget deficit about $564 billion. That's about 3.1% of GDP. That's actually lower than 2014. We know a lot of Democrats on Capitol Hill support this, but the idea is most Republicans in the Republican-controlled House aren't going to go for anything in the president's proposal, especially in this midterm election year. Logan?
Well, Kyle, obviously that budget has been thought out and printed up long before this latest crisis in Ukraine, but it does seem odd that the president would propose cuts to the military at a time when many feel we could be, at least down the road, on the brink of war.
Yeah, you know, a lot of Republicans actually starting to talk about that tonight, and I'm sure they will in the days to come. As you said, those proposals to shrink military and kind of bring the numbers down, make it leaner and meaner, as both the president and the Secretary of Defense has said, came well before this, but there's going to be a lot of questions in that in the days to come. Right now, no talks of any military action, obviously, in Ukraine or against the Russians, but just in case, a lot of people may be asking questions about that for a while. We're live tonight in the nation's capital. I'm Kyle Schmoyer, Ebru News. Logan?
All right, Kyle, thank you so much for that report.